Hey, this is Miss Fisten and Miss Morazan for our ESOL class. Today's strategy will be an emergent literacy strategy. It'll deal with one of our favorite games. It's like Pictionary. And we'll get into the details of how we do that strategy shortly. But first I want to talk about the benefits of that strategy. The benefits are is every student talks before they write. So this is before writing. And they're able to conversate with one another during this approach. They're able to see pictures through this approach. And they do all the necessary steps to surpass that waste time and get them speaking, so that speaking eventually will translate onto paper. So our activity today is this footprint right here. And students are learning about how they affect the environment, how everything that they do, including ride a bus, use a car, eat fast food, is all with our global warming. And so every little thing that they do affects everything around them. So their job today is to find out ways to help that. So with this paper, they're gonna see the components of the footprint, which represents the amount of land needed for each component. And there's symbols for each of them. So it's energy land, the one that looks like the sun. The bio is like goods, like crops. The building land is like homes and malls, which looks like the little building. The fish looks like fish or seafood that you would get out of the water. And the cactus is animals. So they're gonna take each of these components and they might draw like a solar panel to show that they like to use solar energy and wind energy for their energy needs. Instead of a car, they might show a train or a bicycle for transportation. For building land, they might draw a smaller house or a different type of house to show how they'll save energy on the environment. And they would draw other buildings that they find desirable for their perfect world. Now, do you want to leave room for your worlds, for the environment, for cows, fruits and vegetables, paper, fiber, fish, your different habitat? But you got to think, this is your land, this is your environment. You're either going to help it or kill it. So everything they're going to eventually put on there will end up looking like this or this. And if you can see, each one of those symbols are on the side and they drew how they want their future to look like, what they want to see in their environment, to see it help, to see it get better, not to see the global warming anymore, and not to see us trash our earth anymore. So they're gonna go around and each picture they're actually gonna stop and they're gonna observe and they're gonna talk about each of the 5 components there and how it relates to them and how it relates to what they want to change. So they're gonna go around depending on how many kids are in the room, 25, 26, 27, 28, and so on. And they're gonna stop and discuss each one. Then at the end, they're gonna have as a group to pick one of them that relates closest to their group and how they feel. Then they're gonna turn to the other groups and they're gonna talk about how they relate to that one picture. From there, then we'll come together as a class. And I'm hoping by then, with the Pictionary, that they can relate it to their self, they can relate it to something they've seen, something that they heard, and that each one would have picked a different type of picture to relate to. And then we could bring it together as a class. So the reason this is so important, and this isn't actual writing yet, is because they're not physically writing words, they're just drawing pictures based on their linguistics. It's not even linguistics, it's off visual. So if we want to extend this and we wanted to turn it on to a actual writing, we could add in equations and they could add like how much they use the earth and use our resources and how much carbon footprint they put in the planet. They can do, we have a paper where they could add, okay, we take the bus here, we turn on this electricity, watch this TV, and they could do the equations. Or they can even write about each one of those pictures posted on the wall. And that could add into their writing skills. If we want to go further into that, we can look into the research behind all of this and do a research paper. So there's ways to take it down and there's ways to take this activity up. And that's what we are looking at.